Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Host 501, and today I want to go over some more patch notes that they have added to be coming out with the big Monday update, so 10.0. Now, we did go over all of these top ones already in this section. The only thing they added was pipes can now move upwards, and the vertical limit on underground junctions has been eliminated. Also, pipes can go farther without foundation requirement, and underground junctions can now be snapped onto existing pipes. So basically just some pipe changes. But they did add a ton of animal changes and a lot of stuff for tame animals. So first, sea monsters damage has been reduced by 66%. I'm pretty sure this is probably mostly targeting like these whales and stuff. Now, a lot of the sea creatures do deal a ton of damage, but specifically like the whales that just demolish your boat super quickly. I hope this like changes that so they're just not one-shotting boats. Tame's HP and damage scaling nerfed by about 40%, and gunshots and cannon/explosive damage to Tame's increased by 50%. So I think this scaling is because they have so many more levels now, because they added, you know, the 30 more levels basically to every Tame. So they can overall get a lot stronger. I think this is still going to make them quite useless. Tames aren't that great now. Tames are good for killing basic stuff. Maybe in PvP, but PvP people can still just hit them with flame arrows and do chunks of their health away with percentage damage. And leveling is super hard, especially when your Tames can just die to alpha lions, wolves, and tigers with no way for you to get away most of the time. And these animals being as fast as you and doing like 200 to 300 damage a hit through your saddles. The gunshots, cannons, explosive damage. I can understand the cannons and explosives. The gunshots, I really don't. If you headshot anything that has a headshot multiplier as a Tame, it takes a ridiculous amount of damage. Like if you headshot a saddled, say tiger, or not a tiger, I don't think they have multipliers, but like a tiger, a lion, they get a headshot multiplier. You're gonna chunk or do a massive percentage of the Tame's entire HP with like just a rifle. So I don't understand the gunshot stuff. They added more levels that are super hard to actually level up animals with. Like animals don't level up quickly. So, and none of these animals are excessively good in any way, really. Now there are animals that gather and stuff, but the HP and damage aren't really something that is what people are going for when they're going for those. So I don't understand why these animals that take a lot of preparation and active gameplay to tame are incredibly hard to actually get to strong points, and then they're being nerfed at the lower points. Because the scaling makes sense reducing them, since they can have a lot more levels, but they should make the levels come quicker since it's baseline 30 plus levels for any animal, and when you get higher level ones, it's just a ridiculous amount of levels you have to get to make them actually strong or usable, and they're still not usable against some of the alphas. I hope they actually start balancing tames to be worth it, because taming is a big part of the game. They redid the taming system kind of to be much more active, and right now none of the tames are that useful, really. Like the gathering tames, yes, but none of the actual combat tames. And breeding is pretty useless right now because it just takes way too much to do with how strong the animals are. So right now the overall taming system is just kind of something you do if you want to do, if you want to kill basic animals or get the specific harvesting animals. None of them I can really see being amazing for combat or PvP combat. Then, killing the monstrous sperm whale, or blue whales as they're now named, provides a one-time 50 discovery points each to everyone within the 100k units of that event. So basically these are massive whales that like destroy ships super quickly. I guess 50 discovery points is just like when you discover islands and stuff. I don't really know what these are actually for. They're set up with the XP multiplier and the overall max level increase, but no amount of discovery points seems to do anything that I've seen. It's the power stone, so I don't exactly know what discovery points are made to be. Penguin AoE installation now scales by level. The higher the level, the more installation. So I haven't tamed any penguins. I haven't even seen any in game yet, but I know you can pick them up, and I'm pretty sure this is saying that they have an AoE installation effect, which is actually really nice, and that it's getting buffed basically. Maybe it'll be lower on the low end, but leveling it up can raise it higher than it can be right now, which is pretty cool. Updated Mounter and Rider buffs to display icon while active to better inform players the source of stat boosts. Dolphins now periodically leap out of water. If you're nearby to witness that at close range, you'll get a temporary intelligence buff. I don't know. I mean, this is kind of cool. I don't know why it's like a thing. Why seeing a dolphin jumps out give you intelligence, but I guess it's another buff you can get, so that's good. Updated affinity and effectiveness value based on the recent 2x taming increase. So I've tried to think of what this could be. This is either animals you're taming are going to be more effective or less effective. Their effectiveness is basically how much levels they get, which basically also increases like the stats they're getting baseline and how much they'll increase by with the levels. I have no idea if this is an increase or decrease. It sounds like a decrease. Some of the tames it makes sense for, they should specifically be targeting stuff because rhinos, a level 7 rhino taming it with its favorite food right now, perfect taming, the best you possibly can, takes it down to like 50% effectiveness. So they should be specifically targeting stuff with changes like this. If it's a reduction, if it's an increase, then I guess that's just good overall. Updated creature-specific buffs and ability value claims to be scaled across 130 levels due to recent extra 30 level ups for tames. I don't know if this is a nerf at lower ends, because if it is, it's the same thing I just talked about. 130 levels will take a ridiculous amount of time with how tames level. If you can keep it alive from these super overpowered, incredibly fast alphas that are on like every island, I don't know how this will actually scale, so it'll need testing. But if it's like a nerf to suit to the lower end levels, and only once you start getting really high stuff will it start to matter, or will it start to increase and be a buff instead of a nerf, I think this is a bad change. Like, these animals, like, they need to fix alphas. So like alpha lions, tigers, and wolves specifically can't just like 2-3 shot with your tames with saddles on them and can be as fast as you on anything you can possibly have, before they start making it where super high leveled tames of yours become stronger at high levels and are weaker at the low levels, because tames, as I said before, still aren't that good really in like any way. Like the gathering ones, as I said, yes, they're good for gathering. Combat, none of them are like that crazy over the moon. None of them are that great for PvP. If any player has a fire arrow, your tame's probably gonna die unless it's a fast tame and you just run away and don't fight. Increased wolf attack destination offset and increased on physics bounds to reduce clipping into players. Temporarily increased wolf saddle scale to in the engine to limit fur clipping. So this first thing, I don't know if it's just clipping stuff. I know wolves have a really big issue. I think it's all stuff even with like crocodiles for hitting. Like specifically, I think wolves are worse, where you have to be like the center of its body to hit stuff. So you'll be like having stuff straight ahead on you that you can't hit, but they're sitting there hitting you, and you have to like go around the side and go straight to like their center to hit. I don't know if it's that added in with this, but I think that is an issue. Added flowing damage numbers to on fire and monkey poop effects. Added unique buff icons. Significantly reduce all stat value modifications amounts on poop buff and reduce to 8 seconds. I don't know what the poop buff is. I'm pretty sure those are debuffs. I don't know why they're calling them buffs. So the monkey poop, monkeys throw poop on you. It's basically like a damage over time effect on your mount or your tame or anybody. On fire, that's good that they add damage numbers to both of those. That's really good for on fire stuff. Even though flame arrows, like putting them on fire, is still going to do a ridiculous amount of damage. But I don't know what the stat value modification on the poop is. No idea what that is. Updated taming and effectiveness values to allow the higher efficiency to only be achieved with taming proficiency skill 3. Now, this is the reason I think it's most likely a nerf because of how they word this one. They said it had effectiveness on the first one, but how they word this one, there's taming proficiencies, I think 4, if I'm not mistaken, so there's more than 3. But if they're reducing this more, I mean, it makes sense that they would make it so if you have the highest proficiency, you're the only ones that can do the highest effectiveness tame. But if they're reducing the values, they need to specifically be targeting certain tames to be better. Because as I said, the Rhino, with me having the highest taming proficiency in the game, a level 7 Rhino with the best food you can get for it, the only food you can get for it right now, it was at 50%, a level 7 Rhino after fully being tamed. So if these ineffectiveness things are nerfs to it, like this one sounds because of how they word this one, some of these things are going to be less useful. And it's going to be a lot of the bigger animals that are the gathering ones. Updated bleed buff to show floating number, minute value of 1 instead of floating zeros. It makes sense. Updated some undesired movement speed bonuses on tame creatures. Don't know what that is at all. Adjusted seagull and crow aggro speeds would previously take a long time to de-aggro. Updated collision to allow player attacks to land more consistently. Very good change. The little birds and stuff that would just follow you forever and you could barely hit. Very good. Updated vulture AI to only target sleeping humans if the player is connected. Updated attack logic to better harvest corpses or reducing its melee swing radius. It was previously hitting from very far away. Reduce beam movement to allow players attacks to land. Reduce sting buff duration to better reflect its size. Thank God for that, bees were like one of the most annoying things. You just stand in a circle and hit forward with something and hope it hit. Reduce the sting buff. So this gets pulling off mounts and stuff. I guess that's good. Increase harvest amount of fur and milk from sheep and cows to incentivize taming and better compete with natural resource gathering amounts. Updated max yield timers to scale the creature level similar to other creature abilities instead of food value. So this says you can shear sheep and get milk from your cows. So this is increasing the amount you would get from shearing sheep and milking your cows. So to incentivize taming them more. Added durability decrease to the bucket when milking. Not that big of a change. I mean, it makes more sense. Clamped amount of fur gained from harvesting wild sheep. Again, to incentivize taming. While sheep will also flee and may attack players after excessive shearing. So that's wild sheep. When you shear them, they'll flee and then attack you if you shear too much. So that's like the thing that's supposed to incentivize you to tame them so you don't have to deal with that. I hope they don't reduce the amount of normal sheep. Because if you don't know, alpha sheep right now are pretty easy to kill. One of the alphas that are actually balanced. Harvesting them are ridiculous. Like on any of the cats, like wolves, lions, tigers, you can get like 1200 hide from them. So I hope it's that and not normal ones, because normal ones seem completely fine, really. Added lion roar animation. Fix first stretching on wolf's face and hind legs. Decrease crocodile swim speed. That one's good. They were ridiculously fast, even though you can't tame them yet. Updated taming foods to allow a variety of items to be used in taming creatures. So depending on what these changes actually mean, since they're so worded so weirdly, if they're nerfing creatures more, like tame creatures, they're just, and making them less and less effective, they're not going to be tamed a lot. Like if you look overall over most of the games, most of the islands I've been on, most of the tribes or the companies I've seen, tames aren't that frequent. Tames, a lot of tribes will make, or companies will have some maybe, but not a ton. And a bunch of companies, like smaller-ish companies, medium companies, don't even have tames really, because there's not that much use to them. They were in a decent-ish spot right now. There still needs to be some changes, but nerfing them is not the way to go. They're going to have to do some big changes to make anything besides the few, like, gathering animals actually worth taming. Because the other ones is just going to be to protect against basic stuff. And for how hard it is to level this stuff up, especially when they're adding more and more levels and nerfing the lower end because they're adding more levels, it's like these things aren't good enough, really, to warrant as much time as leveling them up that much takes. Like, it's honestly ridiculous. Like, we've been trying to boost our tames up, and they still don't level quickly, and they're still not that great at the low end, or even like middle tier. And I haven't seen anyone with like a maxed out tame yet, because they just die to a few of the ridiculous alphas and fire arrows. But they're changing foods so you can actually tame stuff with different foods, that you don't have to go halfway across the map to tame something that's on your island on the other side. So tier 1, chickens will use berries, monkeys will use berries, parrots will be main hard track, secondary berries, rabbits will be main carrots, secondary berries. So I'm pretty sure what all of these are saying is, as you can see right here, effectiveness, left is more, so it's a better one, and right is less. So like the secondary ones are going to be less, but you can actually still tame stuff. Sheep is flowers. Now sheep is chamomile. I don't know if that's what they're saying or if it's being changed. Secondary berries, bear is honey, then vegetables, then fruit or berries. So when there's multiple, honey will be first for the bear, vegetables will be second, so vegetables will be better than fruits and berries, but then there's fruits and berries as well. Cows will be rushes, fronds, I don't know what those actually are. Maybe that's a different type of thatch or something. Then vegetables, then fruits and berries. Crow is going to be worms, then fruits, then berries. Horse will be sugar cane, then vegetables, then fruits, then berries. And these ones seem to be different. So this one, fruits is better than berries, but the bear, fruits and berries are the same. Ostrich is chili, then vegetables, then fruits, then berries. Penguin is prime fish meat, then fish meat. Pig is maize, then vegetables, then fruits, then berries. Now with all these, I'm wondering if this is just a typo and that fruits is better than berries with these still. It'll be something you have to test out. Vultures, spoiled meat, or worms. Wolf is prime animal meat, then bones. So this is a change. So we've been taming with bones because that's what you tame, but prime is going to be the main again, or the main for the first time, which makes sense. Bones or other meats. So wolves, I guess, will eat all meats. Elephants are wheat, then vegetables, then fruits. Giraffes are beets, vegetables, then fruits. Lions are prime meat, then other meats. Rhinos are turnips, vegetables, then fruits. Tigers are prime meat, and then other meats. So that is basically all the changes they're doing. These changes right here that they can use other things is very good. The nerfing of animals because they're adding more levels is honestly ridiculous. With how much time you have to put in trying to level these things, it's just ridiculous. Like, you have to put hours. Like, say if you have a level 30, if something's level 30 after you get done taming it, so that's its wild levels, to get 30 more levels on it takes hours and hours and hours. Like, easily. It's ridiculous. But anyways, that's the end of the video. Subscribe if you want to see more Atlas content. Leave a like if you liked the video. Leave a comment down below what you think about Atlas as a whole, what you think about these patch notes, and thanks for watching.